You gotta
He's
like if you
nervous.
It's the nervousness, yeah.
yeah, but just so you know, like once we get going. Anyway, we're Ewookie Plays. This is the Ewookie Plays podcast, or Ewookie Podcast for short. I'm Mariah, your host. This is Andy, my fiance, our other host, and then
It's
accompanied by Carrie, our co-host.
A longtime friend of mine. Like, oh my god, how many years now? What the heck?
it's been a long time, man.
Yeah, we literally play like all the games together and
To
like
be
talk
honest,
about everything together.
everything from sports to cars to music to some stuff
Game
that shall not be named.
Yes, we would not name that on the podcast. I ain't trying to go into
relationship.
relationships.
Yeah,
I don't know what that is.
that,
Anyway, Andy and I met about 5 years ago. That's crazy.
ooh,
Is it 5? It's like
It's coming up on 5. We're
2019.
yeah, and we're in 2023 now, so we're coming up on 5.
It's like 4.
Yeah, but we're coming up on 5.
Yeah, I guess. Oh, me
I'm
and
bad at
Mariah, we'll play a lot of games together too. Like, so we kind of formed this like group where we all play games together, and we just, I don't know, we just like to spend time and share experiences together.
Well, to be fair, I started when I first met him a whopping 4 to 5 years ago. I was playing consoles, strictly Xbox, because that's all I could afford at the time.
ooh, a
And
plebeian.
and then like a year or half a year into our relationship, uh he had a PC and then I had no idea what that was like. I was playing Overwatch on the Xbox because that's the game I like. It's the game I'm good at. And I went over to his house. I think it was our first date, right? I went over to your house and he told me he had Overwatch on the PC.
I
And
think
he's
yeah.
like it's a game changer. It'll change your life because like you have more accuracy or whatever. I had never played on mouse and keyboard before, so I was a little bit skeptical of the whole thing. Played and changed my life. I think like a month or two after that, he bought me parts to start building my first PC. Like barely even a full year-ish into us dating. And he bought me all that stuff, started customizing my PC, and then I think like took like a little bit for you to introduce me to Carrie, because you used to play with him and I'd just like sit in your room and let you play, and then I'd always hear you guys play Rocket League, which that's a story for another
Ooh,
Another time. That's like a whole episode by itself. We can't talk about that right now.
I feel like
um
you don't even have to explain it. Everybody just knows the second
Yeah,
you said Rocket League.
Rocket
What
League
a
is another
save!
beast. What? Oh, just that alone probably triggered like 20 people.
just to put it in a short way, it almost ended our relationship.
No, it did not. No, it did not. Oh, Carrie, you want to tell us a little bit about yourself?
Well, I'm a Southern black guy. I met Andy in high school. He was pretty quiet back then. If he shakes your hand, you probably won't feel it because he won't squeeze your hand. I play a lot of games. I used to be like really into console and stuff like that, like PlayStation mainly. I grew up on Xbox, but I switched to PlayStation for a couple reasons.
That was the same with me
A
actually.
couple years ago, Andy finally convinced me to go get a PC. But I'm not that big on like caring about frame rate and stuff like that, so I got a little cheap one.
Hey,
And
it
here
does
we
the
are.
job. It does the
Yeah,
job.
it does the job. Plays every game I want to play. Not at ultra. Not at 1,000 FPS like these two.
Well,
Whatever.
I
But I'm
think
still better
between
than them. So
I think between him and I, we kind of constantly compete over whose PC is the better, but it'll always remain me no matter what. So,
Well, for me, I've been playing games since I was like a kid. Like we started on the NES first. It was a hand-me-down from my
oh
uncle and
man,
stuff. And then after that, it went to the 64, and then PS2. We eventually got all like the other classics, like the Super Nintendo and stuff. I just don't remember how we got them. Like we had the Game Boy Color and everything, and basically everything I can think of, except for like the Sega and Dreamcast stuff. So yeah, we were big gamers in our family, and
I'm
it's
pretty privileged over there, Andy.
yeah, pretty privileged. But yeah,
I will I will say though, like I think all of us might have like a unique little story about how we all got into gaming. My dad used to collect every single console, so like the Sega, the Super Nintendo, everything. I remember when the Xbox first came out, the first like game that my dad brought home that changed me, and it's gonna sound so stupid. You're gonna be like, "That's the dumbest thing I ever heard,"
I was
but
already thinking that.
but it was Rock Band
Rock band?
She didn't even
because
say Guitar Hero in Rock Band.
No, because listen. I lived in a house with boys, my dad and my brother. It was their console, so they would play like the Call of Duty, the shooting games. I never got to, wasn't allowed to, because they thought I would ruin everything and like ruin their progress or whatever you want to call it. So when my dad brought home Rock Band, that was the first game that I was allowed to play and like kick-started everything for me. And I remember I finally got an Xbox that me and my brother shared, but like it was like mine partially. And I would play Call of Duty on story mode with not online because I was so horrible that I would play the story mode so that I could feel like I was actually doing something by killing the
helping.
huh?
I'm helping.
Yeah, that's exactly what I felt like. And then that obviously then Guitar Hero came out, DJ Hero came out, and like I was the best at the game compared to all my family. I sucked at every other game, but those games I had.
You should show me the
On
DS.
Oh yeah, and like this one isn't mine. I had one when I was okay, Blur, come on. I had one when I was a kid in pink, but the DS with the Guitar Hero and the
It's
pick.
got a little strap on the back.
Yeah,
There's
for
no
the
strap.
hardcore gaming.
One of those old cameras you flip open.
One of those
But
camcorders.
Yeah.
but for me that kind of kick-started everything. And I used to play, maybe some people will know, but like Paperboy on the Super Nintendo.
Oh yeah.
I used to play that, and then like Duck Hunt and stuff. Like the actual like arcade games. I was like really, really good at those.
That cut was pretty fun.
You know what's like a little bit off topic, but you know what like talking about old systems reminds me of? When we had the Xbox, we would get the Red Ring of Death for the first time.
Oh my god.
I think
And
everyone has
Got
that
a
happen
story.
to them.
My freaking family thought that the world ended because the Xbox obviously didn't work anymore. Nobody knew what to do back then. And then it was just like you would go buy a new Xbox and it would happen again and you go buy a new Xbox. My dad did though for a long time try to fix it every time it happened and like it would work for a little bit and then it would happen again and then you're like, great, now what do we do with our
I swear
lives?
there's like 30
We
like
have to go outside?
30
Yeah.
basic tricks on like YouTube at the time where like they show you how to
Honestly.
open it up and everything.
Mm-hmm.
Did you want to tell us your story before we go ahead and go to the question of the day, Carrie? Your
Story about
Xbox
like
story.
oh my god. Like the first real console we ever got was the Xbox 360, and we got it for Christmas one year. And it was like this was astonishing, man. Like to have an actual console.
Yeah,
My
and you
mom and
jammed
my
too at the time.
exactly. My mom and my dad bought us like a couple games for it. They got us like this Wolverine game. They got us San Andreas, and I think they got us like Vice City or something. I can't remember.
They did good with San
But
Andreas.
this is the funny part. We put it in the dang Xbox, and it turns out all the games were like original Xbox games. They weren't 360 games, so we couldn't even play them. So we had an Xbox 360 brand new on Christmas and couldn't even play a single game. Like
Damn.
anger, anger.
So
And
close
then
yet
like
so far.
exactly. We didn't actually get like actual games until like around tax season, and we had a bunch. I can't remember what we had. I think we played like Gears of War, and that was like the first game that ever scared me. They had this big guy that would like chase you through this building or whatever,
I know
and
exactly what you're talking about.
I'd never even beat it. I was too afraid. I was like, I don't know. I think I got like PTSD from that or something. But eventually, the dang thing did get the Red Ring of Death, it killed my whole summer because that's the only thing I could do. I stayed out in the country. Neighbors were basically old people, and we sent it back to the company, and they sent us an Xbox back. But I'm pretty sure it wasn't the same Xbox because it had like a big gash on the top, and it still had the red ring of death.
What the heck?
And that's when I switched to PlayStation.
Did your
Oh yeah, we didn't mention that Carrie was kind of PlayStation,
I'm
not
still
so
a
much
big
Xbox.
PlayStation fan.
Yeah.
I mean, I started with the original Xbox and then 360, but then after that, I don't know what made me change, but I switched to PS3. And then ever since PS3, I've been the fan PlayStation ever since.
You
Same.
can't relate. My family liked the Xbox, so all we had was Xbox. I never experienced a PlayStation until I met Andy.
PlayStation 3 had like the best games.
See,
Like,
The
we had family who had PlayStations, and like I was always so jealous of the games. What's that one game? The with the little guy?
this Little Big Planet?
Yeah, Little Big Planet.
Me and
Like I
Carrie
always
had
gotten
that
wanted to
on
play
game.
that
PlayStation.
stuff. I used to
Yes.
like look it up on the Xbox, and I'm like, why can't I get it? Like, what is going on? And didn't know that it was only a PlayStation exclusive.
Well,
I,
exclusives just like I hate them. Go ahead, Randy.
I just like that the online was free. I didn't have to pay to play online for Xbox. You had to.
That was great. I think
Dang it.
what soured Xbox to me is because like since all my brothers were older, they were like really into like UFC and Mortal Kombat. So it was always just like me versus my brothers fighting. And I'm not gonna lie, I was a little bastard. Okay, I would spam moves until I won. I did not care. I
Hey,
would block,
winning
spam,
is
spam,
winning.
spam. Exactly. It doesn't matter if you win by an inch or a mile, but they are competitive as hell, and I hated seeing my brothers mad at me. I would like win so much, I just had like passed the controller over, and they'd be so mad because they'd be like, "No, fight me again, fight me again." I hated that. Until this is a great story. We had like fight night. I forget which one it was, but it was a really, really, really good sports game. It was boxing, and I would whoop their ass so much with Muhammad Ali because all you had to do was hold the triggers and like spin the stick around, and he would like cover up and like wiggle around like a worm, and he was impossible to hit.
What the
And I
fuck?
would win every single time. But my brother got on a computer, looked up how to do an instant KO, and he called me in the room. He was like, "Hey, you want to fight?" I walk in there. I'm thinking, I'm about to dog this man. You hear me? I'm about to fuck him up. Excuse my language. 5 seconds into the round, he holds the right trigger and then he swings the right stick like in a curve, and it just like knocks me out flat. And I was so embarrassed. I was like, there is no way my brothers are finally beat me on a game. There's no way. And that's actually the last time I ever like liked a fighting game or like a competitive game other than like Call of Duty.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I'm like dog trash at fighting games.
Yeah, I can't play those.
He literally broke my spirit. I refused to even like learn how to play a fighting game.
Yeah, but you always beat him at like Call of Duty and stuff, because I remember when we used to play it, like you were the best out of Umar and stuff.
Oh yeah, I'm still a dog on Call of Duty. All right, that's why I don't want to get on Overwatch. I don't want to take that from Mariah over there.
I don't think you would. I've been playing for too long.
Andy,
Yeah.
you better tell her I'm a dog. You hear me? I'm a dog.
Eat it
I
now.
don't know the thing about like Overwatch though that like I think Andy can't get down with is that the characters have powers. You know, it's
Yeah,
not like just a straight gunfight, and that's like Andy's like expertise is straight gunfights.
No, I wouldn't say that, because there's games like Borderlands and stuff.
Well,
But
yeah, but like
before
majority gunfight.
before we get too sidetracked, let's go ahead and get the question out of the day out of the way, and let's do a small explanation on it. So the question of the day is something that we want viewers to eventually like ask us, but since this is like our first episode, we'll probably do our own questions for a while until we get enough people to ask us stuff. It could be anything.
gotcha.
Well, so our first question of the day is, let me just go ahead and pull it up. What feature would you like to see in all online games?
I think we can all agree on this one.
Well,
I'll. Who do you want to go first?
you guys can go. You're the host.
I'll go first. So, repeat the question one more time.
What feature would you like to see in the all online games moving forward?
Crossplay.
Crossplay?
Crossplay. Oh, I can't agree with that one. I can't. I'm
Here's
sorry.
the thing.
You
I'm
can't?
like I'm
I
like
can't.
50-50 on it because crossplay it would be nice for like a lot of like the more like a kind of open world games, but like
Hmm.
also survival-esque games, like the games that like have a story
Like
that you want to
co-op.
play with. Yeah, that
Yeah.
like you want to play with a group of friends that
I
might not
agree with
have
that
the
one.
same console as you.
Well,
However, I disagree in the realm of like battle royale style games.
PvP.
Yeah, because I feel like it doesn't like for example, Overwatch did a pretty good example. It's not great or perfect because obviously it's still fairly new, but they have like online PvP where you're in a PC pool, but you could also play quick play that's not competitive with crossplay platforms, console, PC, whatever. But when you play competitive, you play in your pool because obviously there's the big debate about PC and console players playing against each other, advantages and disadvantages. But like I said, you can still have that like opportunity to play quick play or whatever, where it's not ranked with your friends, and then play competitive with your PC pool or console pool, whatever.
See, now I completely agree. Now I
Yeah,
completely agree.
I
I
don't,
can't stand.
I don't think it should be all over though.
I'll go ahead and let you do your take on it, Carrie.
I like what GTA 5 introduced, like the missions like in free roam.
Yeah.
I love that idea. Like take out. You're skipping like a lot of loading that you would have to do. It just like loads right there into the lobby, into the session. I want like every like open world co-op game to be exactly like that. And every open world co-op game should be, I mean, every open world story game should be co-op.
Yeah, I agree.
I can see that happening, but what about games that are, you know, are not made for like people who have internet, like split screen?
Ugh. I used to play a lot of split screen, but now I can't. I can't.
I think
I
it's
can't
not as
either.
common now.
Hmm.
So like I think regardless, it's just not as common. So like you're not gonna get a lot of people that want to play split screen games. But even if so, there's a really great console out there that if you do want to, it's called the Nintendo Switch.
Oh my god. Or Steam Deck. Steam
Yeah.
Deck's pretty good.
But I mean like a Switch is more of like it's a good console, I'm not dissing it or anything, but it's like if you want to do something where you're like in the same room type thing, you know? I don't think the Switch not dogging on the Switch, but I don't think the Switch is a very good console to play like crossplay games on, like Fortnite and you
Try
know,
that.
yeah, like games like that. I just don't think it's a strong enough console yet. Doesn't mean it won't be in the future to do something like that.
I agree. I think crossplay is a feature that I would like to see in a lot online games too. But to protect people who don't want to see crossplay, I think it should be optional, like how Rocket League has it. You can turn it on and off.
Yeah, that's what I was saying with like Overwatch. It can be optional.
Yeah, but Overwatch, the rank part isn't optional. You can't play.
Well, yeah,
I'm saying that it's always there, but you can turn it on and off if you want to.
yeah,
So like games where it's co-op, you know, or even if there is competitive, if you want to play with people who don't own the same console as you can still play with them. And I think that it will be healthier in the long run for a bunch of games, because not only will the player base be bigger, so you can find more games, you don't have to worry about, my friends on Xbox, I can't play with them, because we have separate different consoles, but we have the same game, and we're the only two people that we know that plays the same game. So as long as they keep it optional, I think it'll make everybody happy.
Yeah, that's true. Until like later on in the game's life cycle, like for example, like the older Call of Duties, like Black Ops 2. I really want Black Ops 2 again, but I don't want to play it if I'm playing with like a bunch of cheaters on PC
Oh, yeah.
because I got on the multiplayer like a while back, and that's all it was.
Well, that's
Like
where
imagine like, go ahead.
that's where the optional like on-off switch will help, because you can
Yeah,
just
but then what I'm saying is like at the end, like the later life cycle, you're not gonna have as many people.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Like what you said. Like there's more people if you do crossplay.
Oh
Due to.
yeah, and there's more cheaters at the end of the life cycle anyways.
Hmm.
I
Yeah.
also a little bit like, I mean, it's on topic, but kind of segueing a little. I feel like games like your Saints Row, your GTA, games like that, the story mode should be able to play like not just yourself. It should be able to be co-op because or like a double option or whatever because I can't tell you how many times the three of us or even just me and Andy have gotten a game and like we want to play together just to find out that we can't or like a game
Zelda.
like yeah, like a game I want to play and then I'm like, "Oh, you should play this with me." And then I'm like, "Oh, we can't play it together because all you get to do is like online, but there's not much going on online, you know?"
Yeah, I feel.
Like it's like I want games like that to be for us to be able to do that. Like what was that one game? High on Life. I got that game and I was like, "Oh, like we could play this together. That'd be so much fun." You can't even play it together. And
Yeah.
I was like,
Yeah,
"Well,
it was
that's
like
kind of a
strictly single player.
yeah." I was like, "Well, that's kind of like dumb because that's like a really fun game. It was cool. If Rick and Morty fans out there like that game is cool, and you can't play it with other people." And
I
yeah,
think that in a sense, if the person who made it wanted to be a single player game, I feel it would be wrong to force them to make it a co-op game. Like it would be nice, but like it's a story made for one person.
well, I mean, I'm not saying games out now. I'm saying like in the future, they should make more games where that stuff is available, I guess.
I guess I can see that.
I feel like if they don't want to do it, particularly like going on both sides of your argument, they should be more like Fallout, where like you can mod your game as much as you want, and that they like basically support it.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Like just
So like
release the tools to like make the mods.
yeah.
exactly, but
Well,
have
yeah.
it like Call of Duty, where you can't use those particular mods on the online.
Yeah, because they have the anti-cheat and stuff, and they have like
Exactly.
I think they have one. I might be wrong, but I know that one game Vermintide does it where there's a button that you click where you tell the game that you're gonna play a modded version or a non-modded version, and it puts you in different servers.
Yeah, see that would be nice.
Yeah. Right.
Huh.
Let's head to the second chapter of this podcast. Is what have you guys been doing these past couple of days? It could be about anything. It could be what games you've been into, what kind of hobbies, literally what TV show you've been watching. And let's start with Carrie this time.
Well, for like the past 2 3 months, with summer break, I just been at home trying a bunch of different games. I started playing Sifu,
Oh,
and if you don't know
how
what
is
Sifu,
that, by the way?
that game is hard. Okay, it's hard. They don't
Haven't.
let you like lock on to people per se. So every time like somebody swings at you, you have to be like actively uh you have to actively notice like everybody around you. It's not just like Batman Arkham Knight or anything like that. This game takes it seriously. They want you to die, and the more you die, the more abilities you unlock. But your person also gets older with less health.
Damn.
It's a really fun game, but it's pretty hard. And that's another game that should have been co-op because it would have been gorgeous. The game's already great, but it would have been like, wow, chef's kiss. And I've also been playing, and we were just talking about it, and I forgot the name. I'm horrible with names.
Outer Worlds.
Thank you. Yes, the Outer Worlds. And I'm not gonna lie, when I first started playing that game, I played it for like 3 days, and I couldn't help but just like think about, oh, this is just like Fallout. Fallout did this better. Fallout did that better. But the more I played, and it's really more about like the people you talk to, because the people are like really interesting and really weird at the same time. and they'll be following you, and they'll have like this random conversation that's just like, it's really funny. You get to choose like who follows you. You can like, get some shipmates, and for them to actually have dialogue that goes along with whatever random partner you choose, it's hilarious. You can get somebody that's like a badass, that's like, I'm ready to kill, I don't care who I have to kill to get this money. But then there's also like this bubbly girl who's like, oh my god, I like flowers and stuff. And I remember this one conversation, the girl was like, did you know this monster can rip your face off in 2.5 seconds? And the bubbly girl was like, I don't think I want to talk to you anymore. But go on, you guys.
I like games where you can like talk and pick what dialogue you want to say and have different outcomes.
Like the
Yeah,
butterfly effect.
Yeah, that's why
exactly.
I like games like that.
I am a sucker for games. Let me tell you about this game. What's it called? Ah, it has
Until Dawn?
yes, Until Dawn. Oh
I
my
played that game.
god. I have played that game like 3 times through. The very first time I ever played it, obviously, like the thing was like, do you end up saving all the characters or not? Spoiler alert if you have never played the game. But I played it through the very first time and I only ended up killing one person, and it was the blonde chick. Excuse me because I forgot her name, but it was the blonde chick that like ends up getting dragged through the window.
Oh, I remember that part.
Yeah, I apparently picked a path where like I didn't end up finding her, or if I did find her, she was already dead because I didn't pick a sooner path. But that
Yeah.
game, like every little thing that you do changes the trajectory. I was pretty proud of myself that my first ever playthrough, I kept everybody except for her alive. And then obviously I tried to play it through again and keep everybody alive, but like I love games like that. We played one together. What was it called?
Something median man of median, whatever.
Yeah,
Man
Men
over
of,
there.
Yeah,
yeah, whatever
Dark
that one is.
Pictures Anthology, whatever.
I watched
See,
some of that.
Yeah, that was
that
pretty
one
good.
was tough because that game was actually like we played it together, so our decisions together.
I think we got everybody killed
Yeah,
except for
we're
like
pretty
one,
sure we
except for
did.
like one person, right, or something.
Yeah, I think it was the like one person you were playing as, and I think everybody else died.
I'm
We did
not
pretty
gonna.
bad.
I'm not gonna lie. I do love those games, but I'm way too concerned about like picking the best options. I was like literally Google everything.
Yeah,
If
watch
they're like,
I
walkthroughs.
yeah,
I don't. If I watch like gameplay of it on YouTube or Twitch or whatever, I won't end up getting the game after. But if it's a game where I'm like, no, I want to play it, sometimes I'll play it and I'll do that. Like I'll think too hard of my decisions and I'll be like, ah, like I need to pick the right thing. Other times I'm like full blown like with it. Like I'll just jump off this cliff and kill yourself. Yeah, let's do it.
might as
Just to
well.
just to like change the trajectory of the game and see like what ends up happening.
Just to see what happens. Just
Yeah.
cause and effect.
It's crazy because like whenever I see one of those games come out, I watch somebody like play it, but then they always pick like the worst options. It's
Mhm.
like the monster's breaking down the door. Should I go get the gun or should I just run to the kitchen and turn on the lights? And they're like, I'm running to the kitchen, and I'm like, oh my god, what are you doing?
You know what I hate though is playing games where you have to like either be sneaky. Any game where you have to do stealthy. Y'all know we've played enough games together. I hate games where I have to be stealthy.
Oh my god, I know.
I'm the worst at it. We want to sneak up and like GTA the heist. Let's go the sneaky route. I'm busting in guns blazing and I ruin the heist.
I like games where you make decisions and stuff like that too, but not like those in a sense. Those are like Telltale games, like the Walking Dead games. I like
Yeah.
games like the Outer Worlds or Fallout and stuff where you can make those decisions, but there's also like other gameplay with it. It's not just dialogue and then almost like a movie sequence.
Uh huh.
So I think I prefer games more like Fallout, Skyrim, and actually, are you looking forward to Starfield now that you like Outer Worlds since it's like kind of the same in a sense?
I am looking forward to, but it's just like I don't know. I'd have to see like more of what they do. I'm still cautious after like Cyberpunk. And Cyberpunk to me was a good game. It was a great game. I loved the story, but it was just like I want it to be done.
It's a
And
good
they're
thing you
owned by
brought that up.
Xbox now, and Xbox really, really, really needs some good exclusives, and they're gonna
Yeah,
have to do it like as soon as possible.
that's why they're buying everybody up, or at least that's what I think they're doing.
Yeah, I mean Sony's been doing it for a while.
Yeah, but Microsoft's been like aggressively doing it lately.
Yeah,
I
out in the open.
think they're like buying Blizzard and Activision right now, and then they bought
Yeah,
Bethesda. They're buying all the big people basically.
true.
And I think Sony, not either Sony or some other big person's being bought by like a Chinese company, Tencent.
Tencent.
Yeah,
Oh yeah, Tencent owns a lot.
it's like
It kind of
Ubisoft or
surprised me.
something.
I thought they were like only mobile games and stuff, but no sir.
No, I think it's EA that's being bought by them, or trying to be bought by them right now.
Mm.
EA is kind of bad though, not gonna lie.
Has a game ever made you guys cry?
Oh, that's a good question.
A
Hmm.
lot of games, what the heck? The
A
Last
There's
lot.
been
Jeez.
Yeah.
there's a couple for me, not a lot, a couple. Um, we recently, because of the show, The Last of Us, it started with Andy and I. He's played the game. I've never gotten to play the game because it's only on PlayStation, right? Or it was only on PlayStation.
It
Uh,
was.
I never got the opportunity to play the game, but I obviously had watched it before watching the show. Uh, we watched the show and then I watched the gameplay after. Obviously, it's a lot different than the show because it's a show, they can only fit so much into it. But watching the gameplay, that game made me cry pretty hard.
The show's pretty good too.
This show's amazing.
It was good. I never actually cried because like I kind of got in the mindset of like Joel in the game, where like I wanted all these people to die. Yes, just like I'm talking about the end, like the very end. I wanted all of them to die so I could protect Ellie, but I was also like, this is for like the greater good of humanity.
hmm
So it's
I
like I
was
was
a little,
conflicted.
I was a little bit conflicted as well, but the reason why I got emotional was because you watching it, like their whole journey together and everything that they go through, and then you get down to that last part and you're like, this is how it's gonna end. Like this is
Mhm.
it right here, and then you're kind of like, all right, like what else can you really do? I guess that's how this is gonna go. And
It
like
kind of felt like that whole journey was like the bigger picture was saving humanity, and that felt like you did all that for nothing. But
exactly,
then
yeah.
it was also like the little things, like finding somebody to trust and somebody to love.
hmm
It was
Finding
beautiful.
that figure in your life that you didn't have on
That
both ends.
reason to
His end,
live in the apocalypse.
yeah, his end and her end. Like finding that, like you just said, that person to like keep you going during this like absolutely horrible time.
Yeah, and
I,
that's exactly why a lot of people didn't like Last of Us too.
yeah. I think that's why though it made me so sad was because of that like journey that they had built together. And like
Yeah,
you kind of wish that they could have just went off together and like never had to think about humanity basically. But
yeah.
then you're like at the same time that's not reality. They had to make a choice and they went with
Mhm.
what they chose.
What about you, Randy? Let's do first game to make you cry.
First game. I don't think I can
You have
remember the
so
first
many.
game. I think Last of Us though is a given for a lot of people.
Andy cried at the end of Minecraft.
Oh yeah, when the dragon blew up, I was like, oh my god.
That was Donkey's wife.
Oh my, and then they left an egg. It was a mother.
Couldn't even do anything to damn egg. Go on, Andy.
I think I know for a fact that I cried during Halo, which is really funny at one point.
Halo.
Yeah, it was like I don't remember exactly. I think maybe Halo 3. I know 4 made me tear up at the end a little bit because I'm such a big fan of Master Chief and like his Cortana companion.
Oh yeah, I bet you're a fan of Cortana.
I was like, oh my Cortana!
She was basically like nude.
I mean, yeah, but I think Halo Infinite made me tear up a little bit, not because of the game, but because like when I played it, like I just got this rush of nostalgia playing it.
I know that feeling.
Cause they changed all. If you don't if you're someone that doesn't play Halo, you wouldn't really understand. Cause they went through so many design changes that a lot of people didn't like. And in
Yeah.
Halo Infinite, they switched all the characters to look more like the original characters, and the gameplay was a lot closer to the same too. You know, not the grappling and everything, but like the way the enemies moved and stuff like that. And I don't know, it just brought this feeling of like I don't know how to explain it. Something that I felt a long time ago.
Nostalgia.
Yeah, nostalgia and like I just all the games nowadays are nothing really surprises me anymore and like makes me feel super excited. Like I'll be super excited when I hear a new game comes out and then when I play it for a bit, like the spark like goes away. But
Yeah.
back then when I played games for the first time and like I was just blown away by it to the point where like I would create these little stories in my head while I'm playing it and pretend that I'm in the game. Like if my AI teammate died, I would kneel down next to him and be like, "Oh no, Ramirez, I'll let your family know" or something.
Mm.
I just don't get that feeling anymore. And yeah, Halo.
It's hard.
Yeah.
It seems like I understand like why they did it. Like if you look at the numbers about like how many people actually complete single player games or like stories or campaigns, it's really low. So they
Which is
focus more on like the online and money and stuff.
it's crazy to me though, like, cause I've finished pretty much all my single player games. Maybe because we're like older or something.
I don't know. It could be that.
I mean, there's a lot of games that I never beat too, but it's wasn't because it's single player. It's just because I never really got into that game, and I thought it would like artistic wise, and you know.
Yeah. I
But
think a lot of newer games now that I've played, if it's like a single player thing or it's like an open world type of thing, the tutorial is like way too long. Like with the
yeah,
Outer Worlds, that entire first planet that I was on, I was just like I was really bored. That's why I stopped playing it for like a week. But like after you get off that first planet, you start, you get better items, better this, that, you start meeting more people, and those are the actual interesting people. And when I was playing it, I was like, I bet that first like little planet you're on, that was like the testing ground for them to see what they wanted their game to be. Because after that, the game like it felt completely different, and in some places, it felt way better than any Fallout game I've ever played.
yeah.
In some
Mhm.
places,
I remember when tutorials used to be optional and you just skip it.
yeah,
Doesn't seem like that's a thing anymore. Especially games where like you beat the game and then they have this like new game plus or whatever where you can like restart the game and get better stuff and the
uh-huh.
game's harder and stuff. If you're restarting the game, you don't need to play the tutorial again.
Yeah, it's kind of like even Red Dead Redemption 2, where if you don't do everything in the game, you'll never see like a lot of the tutorials and stuff like that. That that first little section in the snow and stuff like that, it felt so slow. But to me, it was like it was beautiful because it was cinematic. But if I go back and play it now, I don't want to go through all that like slow trudging through the snow and all that just to get to the more open world.
Well, since we're on the topic of like the pacing in games, like how fast and slow it is, there's I don't know if you guys agree with me with this, but there's a lot of good games out there that are like 10 out of 10s. Everybody loves it. It's amazing games, worth the money. Example, Red Dead Redemption, Tears of the Kingdom, and so on. But I I I know those games are good and I played them and I agree that they're good, but because of the pacing is so slow and like it
Yep.
takes so long to get to certain places that's kind of like a turn off for me. Like I can't, especially since we all got full-time jobs. Like and then we go home and then we have to like tidy up, be adults and stuff like that. I can't just that doesn't make sense because I play multiplayer games and I can sit there and do it. But games like Red Dead and stuff, I just can't sit there and take like an. This is just an exaggerated
Example.
example, but
Uh-huh.
to get waiting 30 minutes to get from one side to the other just to like have like a little bit of a shootout and stuff. Like I just want action like right away. And
Yeah.
that's really bad cuz the traveling in Red Dead Redemption is like amazing. Like no other game that I can think of makes traveling from point A to point B so random and unexpected. Like anything could happen and it looks great, but I just can't do it. I
I
don't
think
know.
they said something like every 15 minutes there's like a random event just so like you don't get bored.
Yeah, there's like so much going on, but like I don't know. There's just something that I can't. It doesn't get me addicted to it. If that makes sense.
I feel you. 'Cause like once you get to like the actual exciting parts, you've already played them like 4 or 5 times. You know it's gonna happen.
Yeah. I mean, it makes no sense too, because I love games like Skyrim and stuff, and those are like way more barren than Red Dead. But I don't know why I prefer playing that over a masterpiece. Like I
It
don't
could be the
understand it.
nostalgia.
I mean, it could.
It's like let's say I watched a really good movie like 2 months ago. Right now, I'm not gonna want to watch it because it's too fresh. But if I come back like next year, I'm gonna be like, hell yeah, I love this movie. And that's basically what I do with Red Dead. To be honest, I play that game like every year, at least once.
I think everybody has like a movie or a game that's like that, that like you play and you're like, this is a great game, and then like you take a break and then you come back a few months to a year later and you're like, whoa, like that feeling again hits you.
Yep.
Like, um, there's like there's a few like movies and shows that'll do that for me. Like, y'all are gonna say crap, and I know it, but Twilight.
Oh my
You
god.
know what's effing crazy? I wanted to interrupt you and say Twilight, but I was like, she's not gonna say Twilight. She's not gonna say it.
No, here's the thing. I don't care what anybody could say, you call me a girly girl or whatever, but I will not watch those movies for like a few months at a time, and I'll come back and I'll be like, I remember why I like them so much. But I will say, on like a topic of game, I was gonna ask a question. What's a game that it could be any type of game that you can continuously play and like personally not get bored of?
Rocket League.
Like never get bored of it if you played it every day, basically.
I would not get bored of Rocket League. What I would get is angry at Rocket League.
Mm-hmm.
Cause like if you play with randoms on that game, it's gonna make you so mad. Cause they always try to put like one good person on the team with two sorry people. But every time you load it up and you're playing by yourself, you're going to get the clan or tournament winners. And
Mm-hmm.
you got two doo-doo teammates, you're not gonna win. You're just not. So
See, yeah,
like the matchmaking is horrible.
that's like me with Overwatch. I can continuously go back after even like taking a break. I could play it. Like Andy will catch me all the time. I'll just randomly be like, I want to play it again, and like take breaks or whatever. But also like I think like timeless games that like we've all played are like Minecraft. Like we always end up getting some kind of inspiration to go back.
GTA.
Yeah.
Yeah, like games like that, like games that we always end up coming back to every once in a while.
I think to answer your question, I don't think there's a game out there that we can play every single day and not get bored of. There's games out there that we can play and get back to frequently, but every day is just a little bit much.
I think
Because
for
you're a
you,
PC master race guy.
PC
yeah,
You
I
Master
got
Race? That has
into
nothing to
what's
do
the
with it.
word? You
I
got
think
to
you
Andy, stop it. Every time I play with you, we should get this game. We should get that game.
yeah, he always wants something new. He always wants something fresh.
Not always. There's games where I can go back to like all the time, like GTA being one of them.
I think a good one for you that like just being with you in the last 5 years that you always end up going back to. It'll take you a while sometimes, but it's Skyrim. You always end up going back.
Skyrim, I mainly play it just. I have more fun modding the game than actually playing the game, to be
I
honest.
know, but you still go on and you play it. You always end up finding your way back.
Cause there's no. This is really off topic, but there's no other game that lets you mod it to that capacity besides, Fallout. But that's another Bethesda game. I mean, there's Gary's mod and stuff, but those games are made for the intention of being modded. There's no other game out
Fallout
there.
to GTA.
I mean, yeah, GTA too, but
I
that's
think you
just
though.
now becoming a thing where it's like super hugely modded and stuff.
Yeah, there's no like huge community for like a random game that you just want to play.
Yeah.
People have to be like really into it. What got me out of like wanting to buy a new game every week or every month or so was uh was The Walking Dead season 1, that game. The first game to ever make me cry. It was like I played it like right after high school, and that was around the time that my dad got sick and passed away. And that story really has like a lot of it kind of like lined up with what was going on in my life at the time. And I remember like I got like really far in it, but I decided to start it over because I didn't know what the hell was happening. I don't know why we were here. I just know there's a little girl that's with me. I started paying more attention to like what they were saying and like some of the dialogue. Like they could say one thing but mean something completely different. Like when somebody says, "Oh no, I'm not hungry," but you know they're hungry.
Hmm.
And the
Yeah.
subtleties of like really good dialogue that like it draws me in, and I can sit there and I can play that game all day and
Mm.
like nonstop. It'll just like it'll take you out of this world. And there's only like 3 games that has ever done that to me, and every one of these games has made me cry. The
Hmm.
Walking Dead season 1, uh, Metal Gear Solid 5, The Phantom Pain, and Red Dead Redemption 2.
The Phantom Pain was a really good choice.
Yeah, man, the premise of that game is like there's a story, but then there's also like you're basically building this base, you're building this military, you're building this family, and you have to actively go out and bring all these people back to the base yourself. So like all the people that you save or kidnap, quote unquote, they'll be at your base. And at some point in the game, they all get sick, and it's your fault because you brought the disease back. And you have to walk through and shoot all of these people to basically spare them. And they're saluting you the whole time. They're saying thank you and stuff like that. And that shit, it broke my heart, bro. I was like, there is no way.
Wait, this happened in the Phantom Pain?
Yes,
Damn, I never
yes.
got to that part.
Oh my god. If you've never beaten that game, bro, that is the best unfinished game I've ever played in my life.
Phantom Pain and The Witcher 3 is prime examples of games where it's so amazing and so big that there's literally too much for me to do and I get overwhelmed.
I feel you. I don't do a lot of like side missions and stuff unless like they actually sound interesting or like the character's wacky or weirdo or something. I'm not gonna go
Yeah.
get somebody's pan for him from in the woods and bring it back.
Well, the Phantom Pain had really good side missions because they don't really tell you much about what you're gonna get with the side missions, but most of them give you like really good unlocks that you never knew about, and or it could be like some of the best things in the game.
Yeah, it actually like affects the game.
Yeah.
Like if you get too many headshots on people, they'll start wearing bulletproof helmets. So you can't do that anymore. But there's a side mission that they don't tell you about. You're basically just going to destroy their supply lines, and that's gonna make them weaker in the main campaign games and stuff like that.
Even I didn't know about that till now. That just shows like how much is in the game that they don't tell you about
Mm,
that they want you to explore yourself,
exactly.
and it makes it a great game because of that.
What about you, NK?
What?
Like, you got any story games that got you like really invested?
Mm,
Don't say Twilight.
no, that's not a game anyway. Um, You know what game? I never played it, but I was super invested in it. Like, I watched PewDiePie, I watched Jacksepticeye, and I watched Markiplier all play it. All three of
That's
them had different story, like, paths that I, like, I would come home from school and I'd be like, I need to watch this. Is the video out yet? It was called Detroit Become Human.
oh yeah, I played
Yeah,
that.
I could not like. I was so invested. Like, what's gonna happen next? That game is a game I wish I could have played, but I didn't want to because I watched 3 different gameplays all the way through. And
Oof.
like, if you're a binge YouTube person like I am, back in those days when YouTubers would upload like 2 hour, 3 hour videos of their gameplay, and you watched every single video, that was me with that game.
That was me with PewDiePie, to be honest. When he was making scary game videos.
I watched all those videos, all those guys, all the time. Like, that game to me, I was like, whoa, I need to know what is gonna happen next. What do they choose?
Is there any game that you played yourself that you've been really into?
Um, kind of like give and take, not really. I will say, like, the games like that we play together, we get really into them and we beat them within like 2 days, which is a little bit depressing. Like, we played, I think, It Takes Two. That game was
Yeah.
really, really fun. I loved that game. We beat it in like a day and a half. And
That
I
was
was
fun.
so upset.
I really like the story for that one too.
Yeah, that
You
game
guys
was
beat that in
great.
a day and a half.
I think we broke it up because we streamed it. I think we played it in like 2-ish days.
I feel like we would have beat it a lot faster if we weren't streaming.
Yeah, but we purposefully streamed it so that we would make it last longer, and that didn't work out. We just ended up streaming like every single day.
Yeah.
I grinded that game on like 2 separate occasions, and I still haven't beaten it.
You
It
know,
felt so long.
you know what's even worse is I was gonna mention this earlier. We tend to get really, really into games that we can play together and we beat them really quickly. Speaking of that, we literally just bought Diablo like 2 days ago and we beat it last night.
Oh
Diablo
yeah.
4.
Yeah, we beat it last night.
I should have added that to what have we been doing for me. I've been playing with Mariah, but even when she's not playing, I've been grinding the hell out of that game.
To be fair, I do want to mention we beat the main campaign. Obviously, there's always more stuff you could do, side missions, online quests, that kind of stuff. But when we play games together, especially as a couple, like he said, we have to take like little breaks in between. So like he will grind out if he wants to. Playing a game, I'll go do like my own thing. If I'm not into, I'm also, and he knows this, am not into the super like grindy. Like, I like to play them, I like to level up, but like I can't sit there and like grind that long. I just can't do it.
Yeah, Carrie doesn't really like grindy games either.
Like I'm cool with like on Diablo, killing monsters. Pick up this, pick up that. I'm not cool with like, oh, there's different rarity levels. Oh, you have to put this on your armor to make it cooler or stronger.
That's what I don't
Yeah.
like either, because then what ends up happening is Andy, who does like to grind those games and does like to care about the rarity and stuff, will play together, and I'll be like, dang, look how strong my character is. I'm so buff. I have 2,000 armor. I'll look over, this guy's at like 7,000 armor. And I'm
It's
like,
over 9,000.
It just takes a lot of like micromanaging your gear and stuff.
and I don't like that kind of stuff. I do not like micromanaging.
I don't
Me
either.
neither.
It's just so Diablo 4 is a really great game. It's just really complicated in a it's not complicated to people who play Path of Exile and stuff like that, because like you've seen the skill trees is like crazy different. I can pull it up for example real quick and Path of
But what I will say about Diablo is it's a super fun game. I enjoyed it actually for somebody who doesn't like games like that. It was actually really fun, and we played the third one before we played the fourth one. And it was really fun to me. I liked it. It's just like I said earlier, I don't really like the part where you have to like grind because like part of enjoying the game is being able to be strong enough to, obviously beat the monsters. And there's like a large portion of the game where I'm like, okay, I'm gonna go out of the town, I'm gonna beat up some monsters before we continue the main quest, just so I can like level myself up a bit. But then like you get exhausted of doing that, and you just want to know what happens in the story.
Yeah. I
I
feel like.
find it more. Go ahead.
No, you go ahead.
No, you can go. It's cool.
I'm just kidding.
This guy.
I was just gonna say, like, with games, like, with leveling up and, like, looting and stuff like that, I want there to be more gameplay than there is, hey, let me stand still and check my gear and stuff like that.
Yeah, it kind of
Yeah,
like
that's what I didn't like about Diablo.
it slows down like the flow of game and stuff like
Mhm.
that.
Yeah,
I
and
prefer to just like find stuff, like find it. It's good. Maybe I'll find something stronger. I don't want to like micromanage this thing, and then like 2 minutes later, I'd be like, "Oh, is this thing better than that thing? Can I take off this to make that better than this?" I'm not doing all that.
that's where I was trying to go with Diablo 4. Like, it's a really good game, but I feel like they made it a little bit more complicated in a sense compared to Diablo 3. Because Diablo 3, this is like just a quick example. They have critical damage. Everybody knows what critical damage is. It's when you do extra damage, chance, whatever. But
Hmm.
in Diablo 4, there's like 4 or 5 different versions of that. There's critical damage. There's vulnerable damage, which is basically kind of the same thing. There's over damage, which is basically the same thing. And then there's more. I just can't think of it. But off the top already, that's like 3 different versions of critical damage that you have to think about. That's like 3 different stats that you have to worry about when you're building gear and stuff. And you guys don't really care about that, so I'm just gonna go ahead and skip on to the next one.
I was
Let's
listening. I hate it.
Yeah, it's just too much to keep track of.
let's switch it over and talk about something other than gaming.
Other than gaming,
Okie
Hmm
what?
Look, Andy. What do you mean?
Like we can talk about like hobbies or movies and TV.
We can do
Something,
movies and TV.
yeah, like
I already
something
know
with
what you
some
want to talk
gear.
about that weekend show.
Yeah, I mean,
I really don't because it's a super, super controversial topic and I don't want to bring that to this
we're gonna get
platform.
freaking canceled so
Yeah,
fast.
because my opinion, I can tell you right now, is not the common opinion.
Yeah, I've seen a bunch of people talk about it. They say it's like weird and sort of creepy sometimes.
Demonic, yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
And I don't want to get on that.
I just really like the songs they had on it.
Yeah, the soundtrack was great. I'll say that proudly. I loved the
Not the
soundtrack.
lyrics, because the lyrics are fucked up too. Because the lyrics is made for the TV show, and the TV show is fucked up.
Yeah.
So don't listen to the lyrics all too deep. Just
Oh,
it's the
so
whole
I'd like
vibe.
pretend I'm listening to like K-pop or something.
Yeah. Like what Mariah does with BTS and
Gotcha.
stuff.
I
All,
Just
love K-pop.
don't pay attention to the lyrics.
all the BTS
No,
fans are gonna attack us now.
Yep.
no. First of all, BTS stands don't because we love BTS in this house. We stand BTS. Andy talks shit, but he's one of the biggest stands out there. So, and I will tell you, he's also one of the biggest Jungkook biases I've ever met in my life. So, yeah, that's right. Anyway, so movies and TV. I want to talk about like stuff we're excited to watch that's coming out soon. I'll
Let's
go
see that
first.
Barbie movie.
I want to watch it, but I don't think Andy will be into it, so I'm gonna likely end up watching it alone.
You can go
So
with your friends
they already all went.
without you.
Well, no, they had asked if I wanted to go. At first, I wasn't really interested in the movie
They're
because
not real friends.
it seemed like an all cast movie. So I was like, I don't want to watch this. But
What do you
after,
mean by that?
like, people were saying it's like a cast movie because there's a lot of big celebrities in it. So it's like more about the cast than the plot. Then I like heard other things and I was like, oh, okay. There's obviously an actual storyline. It's not just about Barbie and, her dream house, I guess.
It's pretty funny. I'll say that. Like, not a fan of Barbie at all. But when I was watching it, I couldn't help myself but like laugh sometimes.
Yeah, see, like that's what I heard from a lot of people. That's why I want to check it out, but we'll see. I will say though, something that I want to watch that's coming up is Loki coming out soon. Been
Oh
waiting a
yeah,
while. Really want to watch that.
I didn't think that was
Excited.
ever coming out.
Me either. That's why I'm like kind of geeking out over it, but yeah.
You know what I kind of want to watch? That not a lot of people are like down with right now.
Hmm.
What?
The Twisted Metal TV show on Peacock.
I I heard that was good.
What is
I
that?
heard it was better than people thought.
I heard it's a game that got turned into a TV show. It's about cars racing each other, and the
Mm,
main villain's like a not the main villain, but like one of the main characters is like a clown that drives an ice cream truck.
It's like Death Race, if you know what that is.
Yeah, I heard it was good if you didn't take it seriously. It's more of like a comedy-ish, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I
yeah.
watched what is his name? Penguins or Moist Critical talk about it, and I agreed. He said like the little trailers and like the previews and stuff you saw, they didn't show any of the best parts, like
Yeah.
at all. They showed all like the wacky parts to make it look like a completely wacky show when it's actually not.
So is it serious or is it like a mixture of both? Like the Joker kind of thing where it's like serious but in a dark way, kind of funny.
It's a good mixture of both,
Uh, I
from what I
heard
heard. I haven't
isn't
seen it yet.
isn't Peacock like free?
I think so.
It's not.
It's not?
I don't think
I,
so. I think it's a subscription.
I'm gonna watch it tonight actually.
Twisted Metal?
Yep, that's a good idea.
You know that
I,
w- m- the other question of the day that I thought about would have been if you had a game or a game series that would you like to remaster in the way that Resident Evil did their remaster with their games? What would it be? I feel like Twisted Metal would be one of them.
yeah, that's a good game. Oof.
You played Twisted
I
Metal?
Yeah, I played Twisted Metal. What do I look like?
What? I didn't
I
know
played the
this.
hell out of some Twisted Metal. My cousin had it.
Dude, I love Twisted Metal. I had like
Yeah, me too.
all of them except for the newest one that was released on PS3. I
Honestly, like the one game I would want remastered just because like I really, really, really fell in love with this game. I used to walk to my cousin's house down the street every single day, stay until like 8 o'clock at night, just like building stuff. It was Little Big Planet 2.
Oh my
That
god.
game was amazing. You can build whatever you wanted to on that game.
I know, we used to like play that game religiously like every day.
Oh yeah.
And we used to make videos on it every day.
Oh,
I
the
just feel
cringiest video.
yeah, I feel bad for Mariah because she never experienced that at its prime.
I don't think she'd be dating you if she saw like what we were doing on that game. Like
That
you know,
game, that's like a social thing. It's almost like social media, if that makes sense.
it was awful lot of like emos and furry kids on there though. It is. You go on there now, you see a bunch of kids with like spiky anime hair and stuff like that.
I actually had a long distance relationship on there for like a week.
Andy, no.
I was like 15 and it was
Okay,
like some random person.
I forgive you. Some dude in Philadelphia named Chuck.
It was probably a dude. I probably got catfished, but you know, I didn't know it at the time, and that's all that matters.
Did they ever talk?
No, it's just all text.
Oh yeah, you got catfish, my boy.
Yeah, definitely. Kind of
It's
sad.
probably Mariah setting this up. She got like really into K-pop. She was like, I'm gonna trick this guy into marrying me someday.
Speaking of catfishes, did you think I was a catfish before we met?
No?
You were like, you look like your pictures.
Yeah.
I thought I was being catfished.
Wolf.
Wow.
Not in a bad way, but like I genuinely like
You thought I
I
was tall or something?
no, for those who don't know, obviously we met on a dating app. Sorry, mom, because if you ever watch this, I told you I met him at a party. but we, we met on a dating app, and he had a picture on his profile. First of all, majority of his pictures were like up close zoom to his face,
Oh
and
yeah,
then
you know what that means.
yeah, like
That
up
means.
close.
What does that mean, Carrie?
We're not gonna say
What
it on
does
the
that mean,
stream.
Carrie?
We're not gonna.
Um,
Go
super
ahead.
super up close pictures. There was one picture out of like the couple that he had, which weren't many by the way. There was one picture out of the couple he had where he's like squatting down, like kind of like that squat where like you like knees out, like leg out a little bit,
The
and he's like
Slav
going,
squat from Russia.
yeah, whatever you want to call it, I don't know. But he's like taking a picture into the mirror,
I
and
remember that.
and
I took
he's
a lot of pictures like that, so.
he's got like a buzz cut, almost damn near bald. And not to hate on bald people, but I'm not
Wait, that's
really
your
in.
Instagram picture, right? I can pull it up.
I think it's on your Instagram. Just pull up the solo picture, but yeah. So I saw it, and I'm like not really into bald men, for lack of a better way to say it.
That's
What
messed
you
up.
But
trying to say about Mr. Clean?
but but in his other pictures, he had a lot of hair. So I was
Is
like,
it this one?
okay, maybe it was just a phase. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
This one?
Yeah, when he once he
You wanna see
pulls
it,
it up,
Carrie?
Yeah.
he looks like,
Oh.
oh, you can't see it because your background's blurry.
Oh crap.
Oh yeah.
Oh,
Yeah, I
see?
saw that one. I saw that one.
You know you
When
can log
black
into your
black
thing
hat.
on the browser. But
I'm not.
anyway, so I see that picture and I was like, you know what? He still looks kind of cute if he was bald and he wears a hat. So it's like
Ooh,
maybe if
just
he's
kinda.
I was like, maybe if he's, well, to be fair, if you see the picture, you can barely really see his face because his phone's covering it.
I don't like taking
Yeah.
pictures of my face. I'm like super awkward about that.
Right. So I like, when I was first swiping, I never had the intention of it going anywhere. I was like, he's cute. But like, not like in a bad way, just kind of like, I don't think he'll reach out to me kind of way. Like,
You
it
look
was
like
more
a
like,
thought boy, huh?
Did you know?
kind of, yeah.
Did you know that I left her on red for like a week?
Wait, I was
Mm.
getting there. So I swiped on him and it was like, it's a match, which means he swiped on me first.
Yeah.
But I also had some real like thirst trappy pictures on there. Not like in a sexual way, but like I put some of my best pictures in there. But I see these pictures. I message him. I'm like, hey, what's up? Something super cheesy. He responds back with, hey, what's up? Something that you can get to know about Andy is that he cannot hold a conversation to save his goddamn life.
I can't. I'm awkward. I'm shy.
So obviously, I'm like, like, why are you on a dating app if you can't even text me? So I say, hey, what's up? He's like, what are you doing? And I was like, oh, nothing much. What are you doing? Like, trying to get to know him, like, small talk. Then I was like, I think I said something like, what do you do for work? Or some stupid question. This man left me on red, didn't respond.
Oh my god.
A whole week went by. I was talking to other dudes. I'm sure he was talking to other girls.
I wasn't.
Whatever.
I just stopped using it for a week.
Yeah, so he like didn't message me back and I was like, okay, he's not interested in me. Like thought it was all my fault. I said what's up too many times, maybe, I don't know.
You saw how quickly she was to assume, though.
Well, I'm just what most girls go through. They're like, oh, the guy's not interested. So I was like, whatever.
No, I'm just joking. I would have thought the same too if you stopped talking to me randomly for a week.
Exactly. So a week goes by and then I'm like I'm a very like hopeless romantic, so all the guys on online dating just wanted to hook up and that's not what I wanted. And so I was like, you know what? Let me give him another try. Maybe it was something on my end, or maybe he didn't see my message. I don't know. So hold on. Excuse me. So I messaged him back like a week and a half later, and I just go, "Hey, what's up?" He responded within like seconds. Seconds.
What did I?
Yes.
Yeah.
Whatever.
So he responds and he's
Trying to
like,
make you sound like a
"Hey, what's
simp.
up?" And then after that, it took me hitting him up a second time for him to continue to talk to me. After that point, Like after a while of talking, we started going to Snapchat and like sending each other pictures of our faces and stuff and like seeing what each other look like. This guy would only send me pictures of him with a filter on.
Yeah, I don't like taking pictures without one. I feel
And
insecure.
so imagine how I'm feeling. I'm like, oh my god, I'm being catfish. Like this isn't even him. It's like, it's I don't know. And like another few months go by of us just talking, we eventually start FaceTiming. It got to the point now where this guy, I would be like, okay, like the classic girl thing to say. I'd be like, okay, I'm gonna let you go to sleep since you have to get up for work in the morning. And this guy'd be like, no, it's okay. I want to stay up and talk to you.
Aw.
I had him wrapped around my finger
Why are your lip like that? Why are you like?
because I was trying to be like a no, but he was like saying that it's the first guy that like I had ever really talked to that like said that because normally I would be the one saying I would be like no like I want to keep talking. He said that this man, his old job that he used to work, he used to have to do overtime and get up at like 3 in the morning, and he would talk to me until like midnight, 1 in the morning, and then we'd like fall asleep together on
And I wake up
FaceTime.
tired as hell,
Yeah,
regretting every. I'm just kidding.
he would wake up tired, but then you know what? He'd do it again the next night. And I'm just like, I can let you sleep. Like, it doesn't bother me. Like, I can literally let you sleep. He's like, no, I really just like talking to you.
You know why I didn't hang up? Because I was scared of the dark. It wasn't because I wanted to talk to you.
Stop.
Oh, I believe it.
He is scared of the dark, actually,
You
still
kn-
to this day.
if I didn't call you, I would have called Carrie instead. And
Whatever.
stay
I
up
don't
all
know
You
night
know,
about
with
that
her.
one.
Carrie's not staying on no damn phone call with you till 3 in the morning.
Carrie, you know we used to play up till like freaking 5 a.m. and I would fall asleep on the mic and then I wake up and you leave the party on PS4.
He sure the hell did.
That's why I said it so fast, because it's true.
I
He
will say
sure
that
the hell did.
after we would talk for so long, it just became like second nature to fall asleep on FaceTime because both of us are very extremely antisocial. So it took us a while to meet in person, 3 months to be exact, because we were both just like, what do we expect? How do we set it up? We both lived with our families. So we were like, how does one even go about this? Then come to find out that this man worked literally 5 minutes from my house. Like he lived farther from me, but he worked 5 minutes from my house. And I was like, you work literally right by my house this whole time. And so then one day I had been pestering him. I'm like, when are we gonna meet? When are we gonna meet? And he was like, I'm just not ready. I'm just not ready. All the while has already told all his friends and coworkers that we're dating without even asking me to be his girlfriend first.
I love
He
her, guys.
We were basically already dating.
Yeah, but he told everybody else, "Oh, like we're dating." And you know what I hit him with just to keep him on his toes? I hit him with the, "Oh, I'm not ready right now."
Oh
She
my
did
god.
say that. I just don't like all the games that goes on nowadays where it's like, what are we? And like I don't know yet and stuff like that. If we're talking specifically and exclusively to each other and on each other for a couple months, we're basically dating. So
The thing
Yeah,
is, though, is I was joking with him. I just wanted him to confirm it with me.
you wanted a reaction.
Basically, yeah, because like I hadn't fully asked. I assumed as well. I was like, "Well, we're basically dating." But
Yeah.
the fact that he went and told all his coworkers and friends before he even like saying something to me, I
Mm.
was just kind of like, wait, what? So I hit him with the, I'm not ready right now. And then like later that night, I was like, I'm just kidding.
yeah, it was literally like the same day. She's like,
Yeah.
I'm just
Oh
pulling
my
your
god.
leg kind of thing.
But boy, was he heartbroken and crushed when I said that.
Oh my
Whatever.
god. Andy's better than me, to be honest, because he would have said that, I would have been gone. I believe him the first time.
I think he knew that I was joking though, because I was still kind of like messing with him, I guess.
Yeah.
The way she said it, you could have told.
Yeah, but then what I will say was after that, like the next week, he had finally asked me to take it or to hang out in real life.
Ooh.
He came and picked me up in his car.
And that's the funny thing. Like me and her, we never went through like the whole like dating stage where like we take each other out places. We just went from two people we never met before to us talking on the phone for the 3 months or whatever. And after
Hmm.
that, we just dated because like we're comfortable with each other already, and we talked to each other for like 3 months.
I
So
will say though that like a lot of people have different opinions on it was the pandemic that really helped that because like I said before, we're both extremely antisocial. So the fact that there wasn't even really an opportunity to go out on dates.
and you were basically like locked in with me too
Yeah.
for like the whole pandemic.
Yeah. It was either he was staying with me at my family's house or I was staying with him at his family's house because
Well, you were stuck with me at my house for like 3 months, 'cause that's when it shut down.
mm,
Was
Yeah,
it three
it must have
months?
been Andy's like master plan or something.
It
yeah,
was.
right?
It was. That's why I built her the PC during COVID so that we
Oh,
had stuff to do while we were home the whole time.
hmm I literally, you could probably ask my mom, I didn't go home for a really long time.
It was like a month or two.
It was a good portion of time. Imagine though, like your whole life is at your parents' house or whatever, your room, everything that you own, and all you had was a backpack with like your work clothes and then like a few outfits here and there.
How
And
long?
like that's it. And I stayed with him for a few months.
How long did they close down in where you're at, Carrie?
schools were closed for quite a bit of time, and I enjoyed every single second of it. I was still getting paid, didn't have to work, didn't have to worry about anything.
Was it
But
months as
then,
well?
yeah, I think it was like a month and a half, maybe 2 months, something like that.
I wish I could
Damn.
say the same, but I was a janitor, so I was working.
So was I. You just gotta work for the government.
Yeah. The company I worked for, it was like we were on high demand. Everybody, like there
Mm,
were people hiring for jobs for you to literally just come and disinfect touch points, like the handles, the railings, everything that gets touched daily, elevator buttons.
I think
That's
yeah,
it.
my
that's how
job,
they had us doing.
my job at the time, we were working with airplanes and stuff, and obviously they didn't want to close down right away, so we kind of stayed open. Like we were one of the last ones open for a while, and then they finally closed it down once everything got really bad.
COVID, what a time. Literally, what a time.
Can you guys believe that's
Yeah,
like 3 years ago? It feels so recent.
it really does, to be honest. I mean, you still hear about like random people getting it, but like,
Yeah.
I've
Mhm.
never been like too worried about it because I'm young, I'm pretty healthy. But I was worried like more for like my mom and stuff.
Yeah, I will say that was like something that affected us more was we were worried more about our families than we were ourselves. Because, like, I remember at the time I was working as a janitor in a tower of a building that had 15 floors.
Oh,
And I remember one day um, I was in the building and there was a catering service. The company that I cleaned at was called Unity Gaming Company. But
yeah.
I cleaned their floor on the tower. Very, very clean building, but I didn't really have to clean. It was more of kind of like a disinfecting. And then I would watch like the front desk every now and then. I remember there was one day they have catering service come and the people get to eat. So the catering service had to be like super, super like on top of everything because it was still COVID time and it was still so fresh. And it was like after the first case had really broke out that hit Washington, and because that's where we are. And I remember we were standing there. I'm disinfecting. Then I was about to go on my lunch, and the janitors were allowed to have the free catering without paying for it. And so I went to the fridge to grab a soda. Keep in mind, the entire building has windows. So the entire floor, the whole walls are windows peering out into the city. And I remember we're standing there, and I open the fridge to get a Mountain Dew. I grab it, and all of a sudden, I hear commotion outside. Like, what the heck? And you peer down, and it's like literally thousands of people running to like parking garages to their cars, like running from the building I'm in. I'm super confused. And at the time, my mom was my boss. I'm calling her. I'm like trying to figure out like what's going on. Nobody's telling me nothing. And in our contract, you're not allowed to leave a site unless you get permission to, or obviously if you're sick or whatever. So I'm calling my mom to like figure out if I need to leave the site. Well, the catering company guys, they come out and they like became really close with me because like I'd help them, they'd help me. The guy comes out and he goes, Mariah, like, there's a COVID case that was positive here. You need to leave. And he's like, the whole building is shutting down. Like, you need to go. And I'm like, my heart drops and I'm like, okay. And I'm like, I can't go. Like, it's not in my contract. I have to stay until I get permission. Especially being the janitor, you're expected to then clean up after something like that. And
Yeah.
so I'm like freaking out. I'm calling my mom. She's not answering. I'm like, what do I do? The guy's like, just leave. He's like, leave. I'll cover for you. Like, I'll tell them that you stayed. Just go. And then I was like, I should have just like listened to the guy because he was being so nice, but I was like, I can't. Like, I really can't. And he's like, okay. And then he's like, I'm gonna go though. And he's like, you really should go. And so then I was like, I really can't. I went into the janitor closet and started crying because I was like, well, literally, what do I do? My mom calls me 20 minutes later and she's like, you need to leave. Also, you need a quarantine for 2 weeks. And at the time, nobody knew what that was. I called Andy crying. I can't see you for 2 weeks. I don't know what to do. Like, freaking out. And he was freaking out because we had seen each other the night before. He's like, what if my grandparents get it? What if my uncle gets it? Like, just freaking out. It was like a terrifying time.
They made it sound like a
So
zombie apocalypse.
Hmm.
I was gonna say, so basically what I'm hearing from MK is she wouldn't like survive a zombie apocalypse.
I think I would have.
But
I
guys,
think
I
I
have to stay. There are literal zombies outside, but they didn't say I could go.
I think if it was a zombie apocalypse, I would have reacted different. But because it was a sickness and all the people were running, I have to take an elevator to get down. I'm gonna be in an elevator with a bunch of people. Like, I just thought I'll wait until a majority of the people leave at least.
If I see a bunch of people running out of a building, I'm
I
getting
said,
out of there.
fuck that.
I don't care what the bosses say.
It could
They're
like,
not gonna fire all of you guys.
but even think about it this way, like how would they know what's going on? They're like not in the building.
Well, that was the thing. Nobody knew. That's why my mom wasn't answering the phone
It
because
could
she
have been
was
like a
had no
shooter.
idea.
It could have been like a lot of things. So
Yeah.
sometimes stuff during situations like that, you have to think about your safety first.
Like the like those Marvel fanboys. Like there's a fire in the theater and they're like, I'm staying for the post credit scene. I don't care.
I'll be fine. It's like that dog meme
Yeah,
where the dog's
everything's fine.
everything's fine. I can wait like 5 more minutes for this cutscene or this ending credits to end.
But what if Loki shows up?
Oh my god. I was gonna add in something, but I forgot what I was gonna say.
I think we should hit closing
I think
closing segment.
well, let me just throw in this since you guys are talking about COVID, has it ever blown your mind when you like work with someone that's like 18 or something, and then they're like, you ask them about like their high school life, and you're like, oh, I don't know, I was at home for like most of my high
Oh,
school life because of COVID, and I'm just like, what the fuck?
You know what trips me out more than that is being the class to graduate before that happened. You were the
oh
last
yeah.
class. That was me. I was the class right before everything broke out.
It's the end of the world.
Basically, and then all the kids that were like, I don't get a prom, I don't get nothing. And like, you were like, wow, I was the class just before all this happened. And at the time, you were like, nothing will ever be the same. Online school forever.
Yeah, and then they explain about how like they did all their stuff at home, like with their
Hmm.
teachers and stuff, and it just blows my
Mhm.
mind. Yeah, it just blows my mind though that was 3 years ago, and like they basically got their high school life taken away from them.
Hmm.
Like I hated mine because I got bullied and shit, but still like it to miss that whole chunk of your life and not being able to see people and stuff that it can change how they grow up kind of.
Also, like the kids at the time that going to college for the first time, like you're a freshman in college and your college experience, which is what a lot of the population wants to experience. Not all of it, but a lot of people want to have a college experience and not being able to have one.
Yeah, but
Like
college it's somewhat normal to have like video
I
classes.
know, but I mean more of like the college lifestyle, like the parties, football games. That was a huge thing. Sports at the time. Like
Yeah.
nobody could do nothing, basically.
What were we gonna say, Carrie?
I was gonna say, like when you said like seeing somebody that was like 18 working somewhere, when me and my girl went on our first date, we saw Barbie, obviously. After that, we stopped at McDonald's to get something to eat. And when we came out, we saw like a literal child get out of the car in like a McDonald's uniform. Like the kid looked like he was like 11 or 12. I swear to God.
How old
And
is
we were
he?
just like, he had to be like 11 or 12, or he could have been like of age, but just like
I've
was really short and looked really young. But he looked like an actual child.
I've seen a lot of posts lately about McDonald's hiring kids that are that age, like 12 and 13. I don't know if it's true, but like I see it a lot now. Where
Oh
like
yeah, like some place in like Kansas or Kentucky or something like that. They had like 13-year-olds working up there.
I think 15 is like the youngest in some places, but like it's not, you can't do like a full, 40 hours. It's be less
Yeah.
than that. Cause I
Yeah,
know,
but it just like threw me for a loop. I was like, there's no way.
yeah, I understand 15, but like 11, 12 and stuff, like what the fuck?
Exactly.
To give that
Like, don't you
kid a
have school?
childhood. Yeah, I mean, even like forget the whole school part. Give them a childhood. Like after school, you want to be working at 11?
Oh, I'm lucky. My mom didn't allow us to work until we were like already graduated.
I wanted to work. I got a job at 16. I wanted money to spend. I wanted my own spending money.
Yeah.
I didn't want an allowance because one, an allowance wasn't enough. Also, my parents didn't have enough money to give me an allowance, consistently at least. And I was like, I can do it. I want my own money. I want to go out with friends. I also grew up for like my middle school, high school years in a semi-rich neighborhood. So all my friends had an allowance, and all my friends would like if we went to the mall, their parents would give them like $100 bills and stuff. I didn't have that, so I worked a job so that I could do that.
I
Makes
kind of
sense.
grew up like we didn't have much, and in a way, I'm kind of glad I grew up like that. In some ways, not like the main ways, but
Yeah.
like it kind of taught me like to be humble about stuff that I have. Like now, I don't care about having like a beast PC. It'd be nice to have one, but I don't care about it. I don't care about having like a bunch of nice shoes. Like I've got like one pair of Jordans that I just take care of. I only wear them on like special occasions, like a date or something like that. But like I don't know, it kind of feels like it feels good to not worry about stuff like that.
We're kind of the same. Every once in a while, like we don't have like designer clothes or anything. Actually, like majority of our clothes are not.
Yeah,
But like we are the type of people where it's like we want to put the money towards something that like we like doing or something that is like a hobby to us, like our PC. We put our money into that. We like gaming or streaming or whatever. Like other stuff like that. Otherwise, our money doesn't like go like we're very humble about that kind of stuff. Like we can afford what we can afford basically.
I rarely go clothes shopping, to be honest.
Yeah, this guy does not go clothes shopping very often. He's got sweats from like the 2000s that he still wears.
It has rips and
oh,
holes
trust
in it and
me, me
everything.
too.
I have
Me too.
he has a pair of sweats. Listen, me too, but like after a while when they start to rip up, you gotta let it go. But
Yeah,
he's got a pair of sweats that like the seam where like the waistband is all ripped up. I've sewn it at least twice for him and it keeps
It's my
ripping up
favorite pair of sweatpants.
and he will not give them up no matter what.
those
Which
are
hey, like
comfy
I said,
sweatpants.
I have shirts and like sweaters and stuff that I've had since I was in high school and middle school that they still in good shape. I don't get rid of them. So, I
Yeah, I'm
mean,
not
I
gonna
know.
like get rid of a lot of my stuff until like the motherfuckers got like holes everywhere.
Hmm.
But if
Yeah.
the holes look right, they look designer though.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. All right,
Oh
let's
man.
move to
Closing.
looking forward to
Closing.
closing.
Hmm.
All right, we'll skip to the closer for now. It's getting kind of late. So, thank you for again tuning into our first ever podcast. Feel free to follow us on our Instagram. I'm gonna pull it up real quick. Ewookie plays. We don't
You
really.
need you need to.
I can see it on my screen.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
This is our Instagram. If you have a Twitch, we're also streaming gameplay on Twitch at Ewookie Plays. Oop, let's open up a bunch of stuff.
Yeah. And
He's the expert.
if there are people watching, feel free to DM or comment on our recent Instagrams to send in questions of the day.
Carrie, you want to throw in your YouTube? You want to actually, I can look it up.
No, I'm okay. I'm okay.
You good? You good?
My videos are dookie, and they're only there so I can watch them when I want to feel something.
All right, I guess
Well,
I'll keep it off for now. I got off for now.
regardless, Carrie's in anything relating to Ewookie, so
Yeah.
you'll catch him there.
I am happy to be invited. I'd love to do this again whenever you guys want to.
It's not like he's a
Next
hostage or
time, I
anything.
swear, I'll
I
have some
mean,
questions.
you are our co-host, so you have to be here.
And moderator.
Moderator, co-host, but check us out on Twitch at Ewookie Plays.
He's
We
moderator,
stream
co-host,
often.
fan,
Lover.
manager, lover, partner. I'm gonna end this. This is gonna
Okay,
end.
that's
I'm gonna end
everything.
it.
Thanks for watching.
Bye,
Thanks for
guys.
watching.